Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. So we are on week 14 of my card sketches that are found in the annual catalog on page 22. I hope you've been following along and making the cards with me or after the video, where you can stop and rewind and, go back to what you need to watch. So I've been enjoying this. It's made it so much easier for me to decide on what kind of sketch I want to use, because I have the sketches in front of me and all I need to pick is the stamp sets, the DSP, and cardstock and inks and any type of embellishments that I might be using. So it just makes it so much easier when you have that sketch in front of you. So I've updated my class schedule, and I recently had the August card class, which is, this is local to me, obviously, it's at my home. And we recently had that card class, so I just recently updated. And one of the ladies pointed out to me, she said, how do I scan that QR code if I'm on my phone, watching you from my phone? I said, never thought of that. So anyway, she can print it, you can print it, but I also included the link that you can type in your, the search bar. And I'll also include that in the description below the video. So let me show you, some of you did reach out to me and say, what kind of cards do you do for your class? So I just happen to have them, and I figured let me show them to you so you can see what it is that we do. So let me show you a couple of the cards. So we did this one here, and basically this was an emboss resist technique. So I embossed it first, and then this is on watercolor paper, so I used a water brushes, aqua painters. I'm not even sure what they're called anymore. They used to be called aqua painters, or maybe now they're called aqua painters, but basically they have water in the barrel. And then I also did the envelope, and this butterfly just happens to be from a Paper Pumpkin add-on. I love those, they're so cool. So that's one card we did. Then this is another one we did, and I used Magnolia Mood for this. Isn't this just gorgeous? I mean, I just love to look at that and just, Anyway, did the same technique for this. I embossed it, and then I used the inks to add color to it with the water brushes. And then I added a little bit of blending on the envelope. These happen to be, both of these are note size cards, note card size cards. They're like 3 by 5.5 or 3 by 5, something like that. And then the last card we did, or actually we did this one first. I thought this was going to be the hardest one, but it turned out to be the easiest one, is this pretty belly band one. And when you slide this off, oh no, I don't want to slide off, it pops open. How cool is that? Really awesome, right? So I used the Regal Flora DSP on this one, and the Christmas Friends for the stamp and the die. Love that set, so adorable. So let me put this aside. And let's get started with our card. So for the card, believe it or not, I am not going to be using, I'm using one stamp set. I'm using Sweetly Scripted. This is becoming a favorite of mine. I can, it's got lots of different sentiments on it. We have happy anniversary, congratulations, happy birthday, a million thanks, speedy recovery, and save the date. And I just love this script. It's so pretty. And I'm using the Brickwood 3D embossing folder. This will be available soon. Actually tomorrow, September 4th, is when you can start ordering from the mini catalog. Sweetly Scripted, I believe, is in the annual catalog though. So you could order that now. And I'm also using Splendid Autumn DSP. I'll show you this in just a second. It's really beautiful. And this will be available in the mini catalog. So here, let me show you how pretty this is. I really like that these scenery designer series paper. It's just so, so pretty. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? And as you all know, fall is my favorite season. So these are really so, so pretty. You got the fronts and then you have the back sides. So, so pretty. I mean, look how beautiful that is. And you really can just use this paper on the front of a card, put a sentiment on it, and then your card is done. You don't have to do really anything to it. So I'm going to be using this paper for the card that we're doing today. And I'll get to that in just a minute. But isn't this gorgeous? This comes in a pack of 48, 12 different designs, and there are 4 of each sheet. So what you're seeing is the A side and then the B side. Beautiful. Look at that. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So this will be available in the mini catalog, which goes live on September 4th, which is tomorrow. And if you have not gotten your catalog, if you're a customer of mine, please reach out to me and I will get one out to you quickly. I did send them out a couple of weeks ago, so by now you should have received it. If you're not a current customer of mine and would like to start shopping with me, I'd love to have you as a customer, and I'd be more than happy to send you one of the catalogs. Can't open it yet. Yeah, I have to wait until September 4th, but isn't this such a cute cover? All right, so let us get to the card making now. I'll put some of this stuff aside. All right, so as I mentioned, we are doing my sketch number 14 right here, and I got all my notes on it this time. And it is on page 22, and it is this one right here. And that is actually sketch number 8 for them. But for me, I've, been skipping around, so. And hopefully I will remember to show you my alternate cards that I made with that sketch. So, all right, so let's get started here. So I'm just using, and then I'm using these new glass C dots, faux glass dots, not C dots, faux glass dots. And I may also use the linen thread from the Natural Tones linen thread. So, all right, let's get these pieces out. I've got my card base in basic beige. It's already folded, or scored, I should say. Let's fold it up. And we'll burnish it with the bone folder. I'm sure I have that even. Okay, that's one. We're going to be making a horizontal card today. And then I've got my piece of DSP, which we're going to cut together. I have, and this is just 6 by 6 right now, but I'm going to be cutting this down to, I lost my sheet already with my notes on it. I just had it. Okay, here it is. So I'll go through that in just a minute. Copper clay. This one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That's going to be my layering piece under that. Then I have 3 pieces in Mossy Meadow, and they measure 1 1/4 by 1 5/8. You're only going to need 2. I brought one extra just in case. And then I have Old Olive. These are the same size, 1 1/4 by 1 5/8. Again, I just need 2. So we've got extra ones just in case I mess up somehow. Then I have a couple of pieces of scrap paper. This is basic white, and we'll be cutting this down. This will be for the sentiment. And this is copper clay. Again, it's just scrap. It's for the layering piece. All right, so what I want to do with this piece is, to start out, I need basically 3 3/4 inches by 4 7/8 from this. Now, because this is going to be a horizontal card, I'm going to cut off this top part here, and we're going to have extra pieces. It'll cut out 9 pieces, but we're going to save those pieces for another card. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer, And 3 3/4 is what I want to cut off. So that's 3 3/4 here. And we'll save this piece. We'll use it for our envelope flap, which I don't have my envelope in here, but we'll get one later. And then this needs to be, what did I say? 4 7/8. So, and then we're going to be cutting this down to the same size as the Mossy Meadow and Old Olive, which is 1 1/4 by 1 5/8. Isn't that pretty? Look, I mean, like, you could put this on a card just like this, and it's done. Add a sentiment and you're finished, right? So easy. All right, so, but we're going to cut this down. So I want to cut 3 strips at, this is the long side, so I want to do 1 5/8 inch. So 1 5/8. I want to measure this. I'm going to keep looking at this because I messed up on my first card, but I ended up fixing it somehow. So I don't want to mess up on this card though. So 1 5/8, 1 5/8, and I should be left with the last piece, which is also 1 5/8, or yeah. Okay, and let's just make sure that this is 1 5/8. Good. So now I'm just going to stack these because these are DSP. I can cut through 3 pieces. So we're going to try. So now I want to cut these to 1 1/4 inch. So we're going to measure 1 1/4 inch. Go there. Make sure they're all stacked nicely. And when I'm doing multiple pieces of DSP, I like to slice upwards. Okay, we'll move these down and we'll do the same thing. I'm going to line them up again, make sure that they're right, and cut 1 1/4 inch on this side. Okay, and we have all our pieces. Now, I'm not concerned that they don't really match up correctly because I'm not using all 9 pieces. So let's put those down there, move this aside. I am done with my trimmer, but I'm just going to keep it handy so that just in case I need it, it's there. All right, so got my copper clay piece. And I'm going to start placing these pieces down. I'm going to decide which ones I want. So I'm just going to lay them out. And I might change my mind on what I want to do. But I'm going to start laying them out first. And, all right, so let's see. I think I'm going to try this one up here. So I'm going to need 5 of these pieces, and I might, you know, like I kind of like that in the center maybe, and then we'll put this down here, one of these down here maybe, bring in some of that copper clay, and then I really like this purple sky. So I might do something like this. And then we'll splatter these in between. That maybe we'll put that there. We'll put this here. And these 2 pieces here. But I'm not too crazy about this piece down here, so I think I might move that out of the way and do this piece instead. What do we think? Do we like that? I think we're going to go with that. Okay, so let me adhere those pieces, and I'm going to save these. I'll do these on another card, and I've got 2 of the other pieces here, so we can do something else with those. That'll be another day. So you want to make sure that you have equal spacing top, you know, like around the edges. And so I'm going to fuss around with this a little bit. And I will probably speed through this so that you're not watching me mess around with these pieces, and then you'll see the final card. I may have to cut some of these pieces down because this one looks like it's a little too tall. So let me do that right now. 1 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's a little too big. Let's just trim that down just a little bit off. Piece 2, let's make sure 1 1/4. Need to trim that down with my scissor because it was okay. So I'm going to start adhering these pieces, and I will be right back. So I finished putting my pieces down. I didn't want you to sit there watching me do that for 10 minutes, whatever it took. And I do want to tell you, though, my suggestion is to use liquid glue, because this way you'll have time to like wiggle them around if you need to. With your seal, it will be difficult to do that. So you want to let this dry before you run this through your embossing folder. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do my stamping right now. And I'm going to say a million thanks. Okay, so if you've seen one of my past videos, I think it was a shorts that I did, I'm not even sure, or maybe it was within one of my videos. When I'm using a red-based ink, such as copper clay or real red, copper cherry cobbler, even your blues, like your Night of Navy, your Misty Moonlight, your purples, what happens with them is they will stain your stamps. Not so much the red rubber stamps, the cling stamps, but definitely your photopolymer stamps. So what I would normally do is add some Versamark to it, and I'm not sure what this does, but somehow it protects it from the ink, and then you'll stamp it. You'll use your regular ink color on top of it. So just a little tip. I'm just going to do this and that. Okay, I think I got it all. And that's all the stamping we're doing today. Very simple. So I'm just going to come a little over to the side. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. If I'm going to put the whole piece across. Well, not the whole piece because it's really too long. Okay. That's good. We are done with all our stamping. Can you believe that? One stamp I used. I'm just going to wipe this clean. All right. And I'm not going to do that yet. All right, let's see if this is dry. We'll let that sit for a minute. I bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in, and we are using a 3D embossing folder, so we need specialty plate number 4. And as I mentioned, I am using the birch wood embossing folder. So let us take that out. And these are the new size embossing folders, so you can fit like half a sheet of cardstock in here, which is really nice, so you can emboss both sides if you want. See, that fits perfectly in here. Run it through. So I just need to emboss my one piece. We're going to add a little bit of embossing on this. I'm going to look to see where I like it. Actually, you know what? I like that right there. All right, so we're going to run this through, and I just need my specialty plate number 4. And we'll run that through. So as I mentioned, you do want to make sure that that is dry. Otherwise, what's going to happen is the pieces are going to shift, and then you'll be cranky. You don't want to be cranky. So there you go. Isn't that beautiful? It just adds another little dimension to it. So, all right, so we are pretty much done with this card. I'm just going to glue that down. That just leaves a little border. But before I do that, I want to put this piece down. So let's see. I think this measures straight across almost. So I'm just going to trim this down a little, but let me see what I want to do with this piece first. I'm just going to layer this over like so. We're just going to layer it like so. Right? I think so. So this piece is going to be 5 3/8. See, I told you I might need that trimmer. So let me trim this down to 5 3/8. 5 3/8. And yes, I know I could have used a scissor, but seeing as I don't cut very straight, I wanted to make sure that this is straight. And it's just a little hair there. Okay. And then this is going to be 5 1/4 inches. So we'll measure this at 5 1/4. But you know what? I want that there. So I'm going to do this here. And then we'll flip this around and we'll measure it at 5 1/4. Okay. Make sure that that's right. A nice little border. Okay, good. So the other thing I want to do with this is, and you've seen me doing this before, I like to add a little bit of color to my edging. I'm going to do that. Now, normally I wouldn't do this with this because I do have a layer underneath it, and usually that's why I do it, but I just wanted to add a little something to it. Just have to make sure that I put that aside because I don't want to get my fingers in it like I just did. So I'm going to put this aside just to let it finish drying, let the ink set on it. Okay, that is good. And should we wrap some twine around this? I don't know if I will though, because it's really the same color. You might not even see that on there, right? Let's see what it looks like. I'll put it around a few times. I'll tie a simple knot. This is becoming one of my favorite threads, this 3-pack. All right, you know what, since I'm there, let's just cut that a little bit there. Spread that out a little bit, and then we'll tie this in a knot. This should probably be dry now. So let's put this on with our liquid glue. And then we'll use dimensionals on the front. Oh, I'm gonna still need that. All right, so let's pick that up. Sometimes when I'm using these small strips, I like to do it that way and then move it around. Just find it easier that way. I'm not getting glue on my fingers. To the front with glue. Yes, glue. I was thinking maybe I'll add dimensionals to it, but I think glue is just as good. Again, this is just a small border all around. Now I'm done with this, and let me get my dimensionals. Add some to the front. I have to trim this ribbon here, the string. Yeah. All right, so I secured that with a dimensional. All right, so we don't need a dimensional there, but we need one on the other areas. Put one here. And another one over here. That should be good. See what happened? It stuck to the table. All right, we'll put that right about there. Yeah, you can't even see the ribbon, the string. So really, you don't need that string. All you see is just the little tails there, and I'm going to trim that off a little bit. All right, then let's add our glass dots. Now those you'll definitely see on here. Let's see, we have, what colors do we have? We have, what is this? Calypso, no, Cajun Craze, Copper Clay, Mossy Meadow, and Wild Wheat. Let's do this. Put one here. So, and we'll add another one right about here maybe. And then we'll add a third one right about there. Should we add more? I think that's good enough. Well, there you have it, friends. So I hope you enjoyed that one. We're going to use this on the envelope, so I'll put that with that. Pretend there's an envelope there, even though I didn't make one. Let me show you the other cards that I did and what I used for them. So on this one here, I use the Thoughtful Wishes Designer Series paper. That's another gorgeous paper pack that's available in the annual catalog. And then I used, oh, I don't remember the stamps that I used on this one, but this is what I did with the envelope. The leftover piece, I just put it on the envelope. So there's that. Put this aside for a second. And then this is the other one. Isn't this gorgeous? This is so stunning. This designer series paper will be available in the mini catalog. I don't recall what it's called, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I used cherry cobbler. And for this one, I used Peaceful Season, and I used All the Best, the stamp, and then I used this die and this die to make this cool banner. I thought that came out so pretty. I think that's gorgeous. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this card that we just did together today. And please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. And also leave me a comment. It helps with my YouTube analytics, helps me grow my channel, helps people find me a lot easier. And don't forget to share it with your other crafty friends. Until next week, have a great day. Bye-bye.